As long as you love me. As long as you love me. As long as you love me. We're under pressure. 7 billion people in the world trying to fit in. Keep it together. Smile on your face even though your heart is frowning. I think you.
The ceremony is intended on reaffirming baptismal vows and being closer to their faith at a time where it's easy to stray away. If Maria, for example, starts planning her quinceañera, she must sign up for pre-quinceañera classes at her church. This class will go with her over with her relationship with God and the Catholic community. As a reminder of the commitment she's making during the ceremony. There's requirements of the class vary from parish to parish. The Mass kicks off the first part of the. What's a quinceañera?
A quinceañera is a Latin version of a Sweet 16. It's when a 15-year-old girl celebrates her womanhood. It was brought in from Aztec culture and Catholic religion.
The quinceañera traditionally begins with her entering the church and being seated at the altar. In certain masses she kneels. Maria can choose up to 14 girls along with their escorts to accompany her in order to represent her 14 years of life. Then the prayer begins and the blessing of gifts begin. Traditionally, the girl will be given flowers to the Virgin Mary to symbolize her innocence as she enters womanhood. Also, at this time, in some cultures, her dad gives her her heels instead of her flats to symbolize womanhood.
The reason they chose 15 is because girls are pressured to do sex, drugs, drink, stuff like that. It's to reaffirm vows from when you're baptized.
You want some drugs?
No, no drugs, no drugs.
Why don't you want it? You did the cool thing.
Drugs are not cool. It's against my religion.
Dang, she's fine.
I think that the most important aspect of a quinceañera for a Hispanic girl is mainly religious because a veces quinceañeras are religiosas in many parts of Mexico, and whenever families do have the religious ceremony, most of the family attends and the girls are pretty pleased with la fiesta and the quinceañera mass.
Riding in the drop top with the top down, so you're switching lanes, girl. Pull up to the red light, looking right.
The most important part of a quinceañera for a Latina girl would probably be the chambelán in her court, which is her main escort and all the people that are in her quinceañera. Also, whenever they do the vals in the middle of their ceremony, it's really important to focus because it's a lot of dancing that you have to do, and you're gonna present yourself to your family and friends, so that's really important.
How does one find their escort?
It's kind of like your best friends are in your quinceañera, but sometimes it could be family or other people that you can ask.
I could watch you for a lifetime. You're my favorite movie. 1,000 endings. You mean everything to me. I never knew
Typically, the dress is extremely extravagant. The cost can be actually quite high. Traditionally, the godfather is the one who pays for this expense. Other contributions by the godfather include personal gifts such as Bible or the crown. Dolls can be given a gift. This represents the last doll the girl will receive for her birthday because she's leaving childhood.
My vestido for my quinceañera was like around $1,500.
Did you get it here or from Mexico?
I got it here from a lady that does them in Mexico as well as she does them here. So yeah.
What do you guys think of this one?
Girl, you look fat. But it goes so perfect with your skin. I just love it.
Thank you so much.
In every quinceañera, there is a vows or court dance. This occurs in the second part of the ceremony at the reception. The dance would be a waltz, and the birthday girl would be accompanied by her dad for the first dance because girls are permitted to dance in public and aren't permitted to dance in public until their 15th birthday. Nowadays, it's more common to see girls dance with her maids and escorts. The dance's purpose to show everyone that she's entered womanhood.
Take my hand, take a breath, hold me close, and take one step. Keep your eyes aligned to mine, and let the music be your guide. Won't you come with me? Let's never forget.
Muy especial, ella es Alexia Rocha.
You wanna get crazy? So H-A-L, so sexy boy, so sexy boy, so sexy boy. So sexy boy, so.
Traditions of the quinceañera vary from country to country. In Cuba, the Cuban quinceañera stems from the European introduction to society, the young woman's debut. For a Cuban girl just reaching her 15th birthday, it's likely to be the first time she wears a long, formal dress to a social event that includes a dance. La Puesta de Largo, known in English as wearing a long dress, comes from the Spanish tradition of honoring girls entering puberty.
The quince receives several symbolic items from family members. All of those items signify for the passage from girlhood to womanhood. Her father changes her shoes from flats during the party after the service. She either tosses the doll to the waiting girls of her party or she tosses to her younger sister to signify her passage into womanhood.
In Puerto Rico, the quinceañera tradition began centuries ago, when the island's native people began practicing coming-of-age rituals that celebrated a young woman's rise to independence. Over time, and with the coming of French and Spanish culture, the event became more formal and elaborate. The quinceañera process began when a young woman was taken from her family to learn the history and traditions of her tribe. The return of the young woman to the community was seen as the great cause for celebration, as she could participate and help in carrying and nurturing the tribe's growth. Elaborate celebrations were thrown, as well as rituals that announced the young girl was now a woman, with the rights and privileges thereof. For the young woman, the quinceañera, or celebration, was a time to bask in the adulation and new respect of her friends and family.
At the church ceremony, a special kneeling pillow, sometimes personalized with the quinceañera's name, is placed in position of the young girl to kneel during the ceremony. And a touch of elegance is added, with similar decorated ceremony pillows for the presentation of the quinceañera's ceremony gifts, such as the tiara, the scepter, and the shoes.
In the United States, the Americanized quinceañera would be the Sweet 16. Some Latino families coming into America decide to have it on her 16th birthday rather than her 15th, just to incorporate American culture. One of these parties was even given on my Super Sweet 16. The more Americanized a quinceañera is, typically the more the religion has been taken out of it. You can see this a lot today for more Americanized Spanish-speaking families that are coming to America having quinceañeras because it's not as significant as would it be if they were in Mexico.
As more and more of the Latin American culture has immigrated to the United States, we have seen a lot more quinceañeras around. However, they have been adapted more to the American way of life.
So many years have passed, and you is still on the roses. I left my childhood.
How did you feel being American at a quinceañera?
It was a little awkward because everyone is of a Hispanic ethnicity and I'm American.
Did you feel welcomed?
Yeah, they're usually really nice and friendly and they like to party.
What was the most memorable thing about it?
Probably the dancing.
What type of dancing was there?
There were Hispanic cultural dances that Americans don't do or know.
I think one of the first things I learned going to my first quinceañera that all of this tradition traces back to like 500 BC with the Aztecs, and also like earlier in the video it talks about how it's merged with European culture. Me personally, I had no idea about that, so when I went, this different type of food, language, dancing, and sort of atmosphere was very mind opening, and I became more acceptable of what was different. I mean, it was an odd experience for me, but it also was cool because I'm like, hey, this is sort of like a Sweet 16. So with that, that's my own personal experience. I went to 2 quinceañeras, and another thing I found really cool was after the conquest of Puerto Rico, the European influence in Puerto Rico, like the coming of age dance and ball, sort of mixed in with like the Aztecs and trying to convert them to Catholicism with that ball. So like both of the different types of quinceañeras that weren't quinceañeras at the time, they merged together and formed what commonly we see now, which to me is really cool also. And lastly, like in the 1990s through now, the 2000s, we've seen like this resurgence of quinceañeras when they were starting to disappear because just because they were dying out. But I think a large part of that has to do with people coming to America with that self pride of their culture, and they want to not influence the people around them, but sort of like represent their culture in a positive way. So I think a quinceañera does that. It celebrates a Latino woman's coming of age, and then with that, it celebrates the whole community. A quinceañera I learned was just coming of age. It means she's ready for employment, marriage, and it's a way where her community can give her responsibilities and she's recognized to actually have to fulfill those responsibilities within her family, her community, her job, her workplace, and especially when she gets married, fulfilling the duties of a wife and maintaining those basic Catholic beliefs, which is what the Mass was for.
Pop, pop, pistol chasing, cat fight, intimidation. To read a mind, you got to redefine the line and make your sucker sing, yo. He knows everything. You make a sound, the spell is bound to come around. It's just a minor thing, yo. He knows everything. It's just a minor thing, and I'm a minor king. He knows everything. You got your big pop, Mozart, hot dodge, acceleration, pop, pop, pistol chasing, cat fight, intimidation, all out, interface and black stop, motivation, vampire, sugar junkie, database and infiltration. I change key from city to you see to me, it's just a minor thing, yo. He knows everything. To readjust, you gotta trust that all the fuss is just a minor thing, yo. He knows everything. It's just a minor thing. I'm a minor king. It's just a minor thing, and I'm a minor king.
What about this one?
Okay, now here, look over here. Don't look at the camera. Look
Oh,
like,
you're done?
look like right here.
You're supposed to say, "Dang, she's fine."
I know, but like the light is.
Look right
It's
here, like
recording.
like you're like looking at her.
Oh, the cook's coming by.
You can move.
No,